Hey guys, Tex Coca back here. I got another video for you guys today. I'm doing a song for my band right now. We're recording a new one. Should be out here in the next month or so. I'm about 50% done with these drums, maybe 60, 70, maybe right in that area. But I came across this technique I use a lot for rock drums. I thought I'd make a video and show you guys. Basically what I'm doing is side chaining some room mics I recorded in my small room here. I got about maybe a 15 by 15 foot room. Not the most ideal situation to record drums, but I'm going to show you how I kind of make the snare in the room sound a lot bigger. So if we peek over here into the tracks, all these brown tracks are my drum tracks. I recorded 8 tracks, the kick, the snare. I had a tom, a floor, overhead left, overhead right, and then these 2 room mics over here that I got highlighted. I got the room far, which was a ribbon mic I had kind of back in the room, about 10 feet back from the kit. And then this close room was about 5 feet over the drummer's head behind him. So I treated them basically the same. I put an EQ on both of them and a compressor on both of them, and they sound like this. All right, that's just the tracks with the low end rolled off and a little bit of the high end rolled off. And like I said, both these tracks have the same treatment, so this is identical on the other room close over here. So that's what I got going on. So now the only usable piece in those tracks, in my opinion, are is the snare. And what that does, it's kind of the room and the body of the snare. In order to get it just to trigger the snare out of those room mics, you have to side chain these. And what I did is I put this gate on there. This is a REA gate. I'm in Reaper, and it just is a simple little noise gate with, the standard stuff: release, hold, attack. Now the key to here is I'm taking the snare track right here on this route button, and I'm grabbing it, clicking it, and holding it. And you'll see that little patch button, and I'm dragging it over, and I put it into each one of these tracks. I did it 2 different times, and I dropped one here and dropped one here. What that does is it'll bring up a menu like this. It'll pull this up, and there's that snare I just drug over there. And the key to look at here is under this detector input on the noise gate, I switched it from main outputs to auxiliary, or main inputs to auxiliary inputs. That defaults to 3 and 4 instead of 1 and 2. Now what that means is when you drag that snare track over, its audio is going out 1 and 2, which is just through that track, and it's detecting the room mic instead of the snare. But we're telling that detector in this gate to say, nope, we want you to go to the auxiliary inputs, which we are going to reroute this right over here to 3 and 4. That defaults to the auxiliary input. So now it's saying that, all right, the audio from this snare track is going to go into 3 and 4, auxiliary 3 and 4, which are these right here. And what it's going to do, you'll see the snare going right here. And every time it crosses this threshold that I've set, it will open that gate up to these settings that I've got. All right. And so that sounds like this. Okay, without. Okay, that's way too much information for me. So now we just want that, like I said, we just want the snare pop in there. So let's play that again with the snare and the snare trigger. Okay, hopefully you heard that when I unsoloed those room tracks, it kind of the snare kind of thinned out a little bit. Adding these room mics in there adds a lot more character and body to the snare as a whole. So now behind that, when I do that technique, I like to put a room reverb. And there's many room reverbs out there, or reverbs for that matter, and you can set it, if you want a dark sound, a bright sound, a short or a long, big room. That's kind of up to your taste. But now I'm going to play these tracks with I put the Valhalla room on there. It's a great plugin. And you'll hear what it does. Now, by itself, it kind of sounds a little weird, but I'm going to play the full mix, and you'll hear how it's kind of sounding. So here's these room tracks with everything on it. Okay, we'll add the overheads in and the snare tracks. Okay, that snare is starting to take on a good sound because it's the added snare that's in the overheads. It's these room mics are really big, and then the snare trigger and the snare track. All that accumulated makes your snare sound. All right, now let's play the whole kit. Just kind of give you a full picture of what's going on. And I'm gonna mute and unmute these room tracks and see if you can hear what it's doing. The sidechain technique with the room reverbs on there. So yeah, taking those gates off of there just allowed a lot more messiness to come into the drums. I like it a lot better. It makes it a lot tighter with those gates on there being triggered off that snare. So let me know if, in the comments if you fully understand this or you have any questions about it. It's a super cool technique to get your drums a lot bigger, but not as much cymbal wash and junk in there. Kind of tightens them up. So subscribe to the channel if you want to see more of this stuff. This is a quick one today. I got a lot more of these. Let me know in the comments if you like what you're seeing. Yeah, stick around. I'll have another one here in a couple days or so. Thanks a lot for checking out.